How can I raise my energy level or my vibration when I'm just feeling stuck and lost and frustrated and I don't know where to do or where to go? That is today's viewer question, and it actually comes from a survey that I just gave my tribe of women at drmarypritchard.com. And I asked them, what are you most struggling with right now? And I can't tell you the number of women who wrote back to me and said, I'm tired of feeling stuck and lost and frustrated about insert issue, right? Maybe it was weight, maybe it was body image, maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was kids, maybe it was work, maybe it was money. A lot of different topics were coming up, but that theme seemed to resonate for a lot of women, is feeling lost and stuck and frustrated, and you don't know what to do, and you just really wish it would all go away. I have the good news, and I've got the bad news. So let's start with the bad news, and then we'll work our way to the good news. So the bad news is, if you're feeling stuck and lost and depressed, and you just want it all to miraculously go away, it's probably not. It's pretty unlikely that with nothing changing, you're going to wake up tomorrow and feel all better. You might feel a little more hopeful. Sometimes getting a good night's sleep can make us feel that way, make us have a better mood. But it's probably not just going to miraculously disappear. So I was talking with a client last week, and I asked her, okay, what are you feeling right now? And she said, I'm frustrated. And I said, okay, what do you want to be feeling? She's like, I want to feel happy and joyful and fulfilled and satisfied. I'm like, okay, we know where we're starting. We know our end point. Let's baby step this, one foot in front of the other. Because I asked her, how realistic do you think it is that in a moment's time, you'll actually feel happy and joyful and fulfilled and satisfied? And she said, not at all. I'm like, okay. If that doesn't seem attainable for you right now, then it's not going to be. So what does seem attainable? Baby steps. If you're frustrated, if you're lost, if you're feeling stuck, what might feel a little bit better than you feel right now and yet attainable? So I've been reading a book called Ask and It Is Given. It's about manifestation. It's by Esther and Jerry Hicks. You may have heard of the book. But in the book, they refer to this emotional guidance scale. You can Google your own, just type in emotional guidance scale. But sometimes I like to use it with clients when they're struggling with identifying what they're feeling and where they're going. And so I want to kind of zoom in here. So my client was when I talked to her, was sort of worry, some self-doubt, some frustration. So she was kind of hanging out in this zone. This is where she wanted to be, right? She wanted to be joy and love and freedom and knowledge. But she had ways to go to get from here to where she wanted to be. And so I was like, okay, let's talk about working your way up the ladder. So what is your next best step? What is your next best feeling? So in this particular situation, she was frustrated with an argument she had with her daughter that morning. And her daughter went off to school. They were both really upset, and she was frustrated because her daughter just does not listen to her. And she's a teenager, right? I mean, it's just kind of your typical parenting a teenager type of scenario. And I said, okay, what do you really want to happen here? It's like, well, what I really want is my daughter and I to get along splendidly all the time. I'm like, okay, let's inject the dose of reality. She's a teenager. She's, finding herself. She's struggling, you're struggling, and life is going to happen. So right now I know you're frustrated. What is the next most logical step that would get you out of frustration, that would feel in alignment with where you want to go? And she said, okay, I wish I could take back some of the things I said to my daughter, but I can't do that. And I said, well, what can you do? And she said, well, I want to just text my daughter and tell her that I'm sorry and that I know we have some things that we need to talk about, but that I love her and I honor her regardless. And I said, okay, how does that feel? And she's like, you know what? I feel better. Like that kind of took my frustration away. So she sort of moved up the ladder, right? So she was frustrated and she kind of moved, it's on 2 pages, but she kind of moved up to this hopefulness feeling of, you know, I know right now I'm really frustrated and I'm kind of disappointed in her and I'm, you know, she was having some issues with her daughter, but when the thought of sending her a text, she actually did send her the text right then, and it just made her feel more hopeful that they were going to be able to kind of start over and set some things straight. And so what she and I did on our session after she sent that text to her daughter is we really worked on what is it that you want to communicate with your daughter? What is it that's a real issue here? What do you think is feasible and reasonable from her perspective, from your perspective, from her father, your co-parent's perspective? And we worked out kind of a plan for what she wanted to say to her daughter. And now that she wasn't coming from a place of frustration, she was coming from a place of hopefulness. That conversation went with her daughter in a much smoother way than it probably would have gone had they tried to work that out in the heat of that argument. So when you are feeling lost, stuck, frustrated, depressed, anxious, insert negative emotion, I'm not asking for you to flip a switch and just suddenly everything is puppy dogs and butterflies and roses, because this is life and that doesn't always happen. What I'm asking you to do is to work your way up, baby step it. What is something I could do in this situation that would make me feel just a little bit better? Once you get there, okay, am I good? Or do I feel like there's the next little step I could take that would make me feel a little bit better? Now, you cannot control, if this is a relationship issue, you cannot control how other people are going to react to what you have to say, but I can promise you that if you're coming from a place of calm, it's probably going to go better than if you're coming from a place of anger or frustration. So get yourself up in your mood, in your energy, in your vibration. If you can get yourself up just a little bit, you're going to feel better about the situation, maybe more hopeful about the situation. Maybe you'll expect things to go a little bit better, and it's more likely then that they will. So that's the good news. Even if you feel like you're starting here, and you want to be way up here, and you can't see that this is and this are ever going to narrow, you start here, and you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you do the work, if you keep thinking, okay, what's the next best step? What's the next thing I can do that's going to make me feel better? You will get there. Are you going to stay there? No, life happens. We're human. But the more you do this process, the more you can figure out my next best step, the easier it's going to become. I hope that serves you. Much love. Keep the questions coming in, and I'll see you next week.